position. Noticing our heels resting under the knees and the hips, maybe widening out the toes if that's available. And as we relax the toes, feeling the softness of the soles of the feet on the ground, allowing the arches to lift and our thighs to engage, and resting our knees. Shoulder blades relax as the top of the head reaches up to the sky, the fingertips stretch towards the ground. As we find our strong mountain pose, we'll travel in some tall, deep breaths. Just lengthening through the spine with our inhale, softening the shoulders with our exhale. And let our body have just a moment of rest. And then we're welcome to keep our palms by our side, or if it feels comfortable today, resting our palms on the belly. Then with our inhale, noticing the belly expanding like a balloon. With our exhale, the belly relaxing into the lower back. Just a few belly breaths. Inhale, expanding. Exhale, releasing. Maybe just one more. Inhale, opening. Exhale, resting. Now we're welcome to continue this belly breath, or if it feels okay, resting our hands on our lower back tailbone region. If it feels okay on your shoulders and elbow. And then with our inhale, we're going to imagine like we're tucking our tail in between our legs as we inhale through the lower back. And then exhale, we'll feel the body come back to a natural stance. So we can inhale the lower tailbone in, and then exhale, relax it out. So we're feeling that breath traveling into the lower back. Feeling a little release through all those areas in the lower back. So we take just one more breath. We rest our palms back by our side, reaching our spine tall. And then take a moment just to travel the palms up, the palms down, rolling through our wrist, rolling through the elbows, rolling through the shoulders. And then with our palms open, allowing the inhale to travel the fingertips towards the sky. Joining our palms as we relax our thumbs to the heart. Inhaling as we open fingertips towards the sky. Exhaling, resting, thumbs to heart. Do one more breath. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, resting. Guiding one arm towards the sky, one arm towards the ground. Let the fingers actively stretch in opposite directions, lengthening through our side body. And then trading sides, we'll send the other arm up to the sky, the other arm towards the ground, reaching. Pulling both arms tall, feel the inhale, lift the lungs. The exhale sends the tailbone back to chair. Pull the lower belly in, inhale, lift the heart up, standing mountain, exhaling, back to chair. Do a couple more breaths. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, sinking. Do one more. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, deep bend in the knees as we swan dive down, resting our ribs towards the thighs, fingertips towards the floor. Pulling our knees behind us as we find an all fours position. Releasing our wrists underneath the shoulders, our knees underneath our hips. Allowing our inhale to pull the heart forward into cow. Our exhale pulls up towards the sky into cat. Let's flow with the breath. Inhale, pressing the heart forward. Exhale, folding the ribs in. And we'll get just a couple more movements in this direction, feeling that stretch and release wherever our body allows today. Then we're welcome to continue this flowing cat and cow. We're welcome to find neutral spine and start folding side to side. Shoulders towards the hips on one side. Shoulders towards the hips on the other side. Finding that reach side to side as we breathe. And then as we find our bodies back in our neutral spine, with the lower belly engaged, helping the right heel press out from our hip. Option to keep it there, or exhale the thigh towards the ribs. Inhale, reaching out. Exhale, folding in. So choosing any range of motion, any pace of movement, allowing that stretch through our breath. And we're welcome to keep the movement flowing. The next time the thigh comes in towards the ribs, maybe we find that cat back, lifting up, just a deep breath, and then helping the right foot find its way into our lunge, wiggling that heel up under the knee. Arms resting on either side of the front leg or the inside. Find a place of comfort. Inhaling our heart forward as we find our stretch in our lunge. Exhaling our hips back as we relax into our half pyramid. Option to flow with the breath. Inhaling So we're allowing our bodies to find any range of motion, any pace of movement. Enjoying a place of stillness is always available, letting our bodies guide our choices for today. Relaxing through our breath. And we're welcome to keep the movement flowing. If it feels okay, maybe finding a place of stillness with the front leg towards straight. Fingertips might feel like resting underneath the shoulders. We can continue with a tall spine or allow our inhale to push the heart towards the toes. Exhale, resting. Inhale, drawing our heart forward. Exhale, resting. Maybe one more breath. Inhale, opening. As we exhale, pulling our bodies into our lunge, let's find a child's pose, sending the front toes towards the back toes. Knees can be together or wide. If it feels okay, maybe our fingertips are reaching to the top of the mat, resting into our tailbone as we push the hips towards the heels. And then if you'd like to return to that lower back breathing, feeling the lower back opening through the inhale and then settling, relaxing through the exhale. Just a couple more breaths. With our bodies finding a moment of release, we're welcome to continue or return to that all fours option. Resting our wrists underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. Feel the lower belly kick in to support our spine, and then stretch the left heel out from the hip. Continuing here, exhaling, thigh to ribs. We can inhale, heel back out. Exhaling, thigh in. Creating any range of motion, any pace of movement. Stillness is always available. Let the body choose what works the best today as we breathe. And maybe as the next thigh comes in, we'll pick up the ribs in our cat back and feel that reach through the belly towards the thigh. Helping this left foot travel forward into our lunge. Resting the heel under the knee, fingertips on either side or the inside. Let's inhale our heart stretching forward. We can hang out here. We can exhale, relax our hips back to our half pyramid. We can hang out here. We can flow back and forth, inhaling towards the lunge, exhaling towards the half pyramid, and find that stretch and release as we breathe. We're welcome to find a moment of stillness, maybe feeling length through the front leg, maybe resting our fingertips underneath our shoulders, enjoying relaxation or inhaling the heart towards the toes, exhale, resting, inhaling our heart towards the toes, exhale, resting, maybe one more, inhale, stretch and open, exhale, relax. Let's have our hips and our heart reach through the front of the mat, and then rest all the way back into the child's pose of our body's choice. Maybe we have fingertips reaching forward. Maybe we have palms under the forehead. Maybe our fingertips stretch towards our feet. Noticing a moment to breathe. We're going to find ourselves in some flowing cobras. So if that isn't feeling like a good option today, we can stay in child's pose. Otherwise, we can inhale forward into a kneeling plank, stabilizing the shoulders, the ribs, the belly, and then resting our belly towards the ground. We can stay palms at the ribs, or you can slide elbows out by the shoulders. Enjoying stillness here as we pull in the lower belly. We have the option to inhale, lift the heart up off the ground, and exhale, rest. Inhaling, heart up off the ground, exhaling, rest. Maybe one more. Inhale, lifting, exhale, resting. So enjoying stillness here. If it feels okay, maybe even finding a sphinx pose with our elbows resting under the shoulders, forearms pushing into the ground as the lower belly kicks in, our heart stretches towards our thumbs, and we open the chest as we breathe. Relaxing here. Let's slide the palms by our ribs, upper arm squeezing in, lower belly pulling in, pulling that tall spine back into our kneeling plank, resting our bodies back in any variation of child's pose, arms forward, hands under the forehead, hands by the ankles. Finding a few releasing exhales. Continuing in our child's pose with our fingers wide, maybe finding a downward dog, tucking into the toes to lengthen the spine with our knees bent or legs straight, or maybe we add a few pedaling movements, pressing one thigh towards the ribs and then the other thigh towards the ribs. Just a couple stretching back and forth. Helping our feet reach up towards our hands, noticing a place of relaxation. Fingertips towards the ground or the shin or the thighs. Maybe we continue to relax. May we inhale up halfway. We can ground the heels and inhale fingertips towards the sky. With our spine tall, option to twist one arm forward, the other arm back. Inhaling tall, exhaling towards the other side, finding reach and rotation as we breathe. One more in each direction. As we find neutral, lifting the heart towards the sky. Exhale, swan diving down. Returning to our child's pose or downward dog and find a moment to stretch and relax. Option to travel the right toes up towards the sky into a three-legged dog. Helping our right foot find our lunge. And we're going to have the option to stay back heel lifted in the lunge, or the back heel can ground into warrior one. So choose what works best on the body. Palms reaching up to the front thigh, squeezing into the midline of the body, lifting through the ribs, resting through the shoulders. If it's available, maybe traveling our fingertips towards the sky. Finding that inner thigh, lower belly engagement. Finding neutral or inhaling ribs towards the sky, exhaling to the diagonal. Maybe a couple more breaths. Inhale, opening. Exhale, reaching. Maybe one more. Inhale, opening. And as we reach, finding that length through the backside body. Enjoying stillness or exhaling elbows towards the ribs. Inhaling fingertips towards the head. Exhaling back. Maybe just a couple more breaths here. With our elbows resting by our shoulders, we can stay neutral spine or inhale, collarbone forward. Exhale, rest. A couple more. Inhale, collarbone forward. Exhale, rest. Maybe one more. Inhale, lifting. As we exhale, resting our palms on our thigh. From here, we're reaching into a warrior two, so having the option to ground the back heel sideways, stretching our fingers towards the toes, shoulders, hips, relaxing. Rolling the back thumb in, resting the back of the hand or the forearm at the lower back, stabilizing our hips. Opening the front palm, option to stretch forward, and then reach back, feeling the front thigh stretching towards the front of the mat, the top arm reaching towards the back of the mat, creating openness in our front side body. We can continue with the front knee bent or maybe softening the sensation in the hip by extending the front leg towards straight, keeping that openness through our ribs as we breathe. And if we've lengthened the leg, outer hip helps that front knee travel back towards the heel. The front elbow or palm can relax on the thigh. Top shoulder reaches towards the ceiling as we lift the rib cage. Back of the hand can continue at the hip or reach towards the sky, or maybe extend over the head. If our hips are feeling pretty loose today, maybe the back of the hand feels the calf or the fingertip might rest towards the floor, maintaining that openness in our lungs as we breathe, stretching through our breath. Returning our palms to the inside of the front leg, finding our lunge of choice, back knee lifted or lowered. Maybe we twist towards the front thigh and lift this chest towards the sky. Resting back anywhere along the way, child's pose, fours, downward dog. Feeling rest and relaxation. Maybe inhaling to plank. Option to relax the knees. And exhale, elbows towards the ribs. Let our inhale float the heart forward to cobra. Exhaling with control to pull the hips back to child's pose. Feeling just a few resting breaths. allowing our bodies to find just a moment to breathe. If we like the three-legged dog, option to travel the left toes towards the sky, helping our left foot find its way all the way into our lunge. And again, the back heel can be lifted. It can lower into a warrior one, find our body's choice. Walking our palms up to that front thigh, squeezing everything into the middle end of the body, lifting the ribs, relaxing the shoulders. If it's available, maybe traveling fingertips towards the sky. Option to stay neutral wherever we're at, or maybe we inhale the chest open and exhale to the diagonal line. Couple more breaths. Inhale, opening, exhaling forward. Maybe just one more. Inhale, opening, exhale forward. Maintaining neutral here, exhaling, elbows to the ribs. Inhaling, fingertips forward, finding movement or enjoying stillness wherever our body gives us today. With our elbows sliding in line with the shoulders, having the option to inhale the collarbone forward, exhaling, rest. Inhaling, collarbone forward, exhaling, rest. One more. Inhale, open. As we exhale, palms rest on the front thigh. Again, finding our warrior two, maybe grounding the back heel, stretching our arms towards our feet, heart reaching to the long side of our mat, finding stability and rest. Rolling the back thumb in, back of the hand hanging out at the hip or the lower back, opening the palm, maybe stretching forward, and then reaching behind us, feeling that openness in our front side body. Stretching and reaching into our breath. If we like a little release in that front hip, option to stretch the front leg towards straight and finding that reach through the hip, through the ribs, stretching through the breath. If we lengthen the leg, feel that outer hip kick in, guiding the knee back towards the heel. Top arm, palm can rest on the thigh or elbow rest on the thigh. Back hand can hang out at the hip as the shoulder and the ribs reach up to the sky. Maybe the back arm stretches towards the ceiling, or maybe it extends over the head, finding that length through our ribs, finding our side angle. If our hips are feeling pretty loosey-goosey, maybe the back of the hand finds the calf or the fingertip feels the floor. Choose where the body feels like stretching. Returning our hands back into the lunge of our choice. Back knee lifted or lowered. Maybe we're twisting towards the front body. And then releasing, maybe back to child's pose or downward dog. Finding rest and relaxation. Enjoying a place of stillness and release. Option to inhale, finding our plank or kneeling plank. Let's exhale, elbows in. Maybe feeling a cobra. So we inhale, the heart open, and exhale, returning, child's pose, downward dog, out fours, taking 3 deep breaths wherever our body gives us. Maybe even returning that breath into the lower back. Guiding our feet towards the front of the mat, helping our heels relax underneath our knees. Fingertips can stay on the ground, or the shins are stretched up towards the thighs, creating that length through the back of the head, the back of the hips. If we'd like more extended legs, that's available. Soft or deep bend in the knees is always a great option. Take a few deep breaths here. And then we're going to sink our tailbone back, finding our chair pose. Inner thighs engaging, lower belly engaging, shoulders resting. And then sliding the palms into the heart. From wherever we're feeling stable, option to keep the stability through our heels and our hips. We are going to be doing some twisting. So if it feels more comfortable to stabilize the thighs and hips with the knees and toes towards each other, That's an option that we have. Heels parallel is always good as well. So from here, let's exhale, elbows towards one side. We can keep the elbows floating. The elbow can find the outside of the thigh. Maybe it feels better to use the forearm to open the chest, or resting the hands and feel that expansion through our rib cage as we breathe. Take a couple deep breaths. Let's return palms together at the thighs, enjoying a tall spine, top of the head through the tailbone, or inhaling, pushing the heart forward in a standing cow. Exhale, folding the ribs in a standing cat. Any flowing movement that our bodies feel comfortable with, we're always having that option to enjoy stillness. Now from here, we'll feel that body return to our chair, tailbone reaching back, lower belly coming in, shoulders rest as our palms join. Turning towards the other side. Again, elbows floating, or elbows hooking outside the thigh. Maybe it feels more comfortable for the forearm, or maybe just the hands to hang out on that side of the body, feeling maybe a little bit more length, maybe a little bit more release as we breathe, noticing stability as we relax into our breath. Returning our wrists back to neutral. As we rest our palms on our thighs, if we've joined our knees and toes, allowing them to come back underneath our heels and hips, then maybe stretching our legs towards straight. They don't have to completely lengthen. Finding reach in our spine. Just a couple of exhales. Pushing through the heels, lower belly comes in. Inhaling, fingertips towards the sky. Exhaling, arms to our side. Maybe swaying just a few times. Find relaxation through our shoulders, our ribs, our lower back. And we'll find a place to work on our balancing, enjoying one heel grounding, widening the toes again like we did before. Arch lifting, thigh engaged, knee joint softens. The other thigh can be forward, maybe the outer hip opens the thigh to the side, squeezing everything in and lifting everything up, planting our palms as we find our focal point, toe on the ground or floating, foot to the calf or inner thigh, anywhere we're finding stability today. Enjoying palms at the heart or palms at our side, or maybe reaching out to a T or lifting towards the sky, creating rest and release through our breath. Releasing this side, relaxing through our joints. Trading legs, so the other thigh finds stability, softening the knee. We're going to have the other knee forward or outer hip can open it. Squeezing in and up, find stability through our hips, our belly. Toes on the ground are floating, maybe feeling the inside of the leg. Enjoying stillness with the palms at the heart, or resting the arms, or find that tightrope walker stance or fingertips towards the sky. Finding rest through our breath. from here, as we trade legs, the other heel grounds, the other knee is forward. We're going to start with our toe on the ground, lifting the ribs, squeezing in. Exhale, turning our belly button towards the bent knee. Hands resting on our leg, wherever it's comfortable. Continuing this balance, or as we feel more stability in the leg, option to float the toe or slide the knee in line with the hip. We can stay where we've landed in our rotation, or one a little deeper, we can lift and twist a little further. Option to keep the knee and the arm bent, or we can extend the front leg towards straight, and the option to extend the back arm towards straight. Finding that reach that works today. Take 3 deep breaths here. Now we're welcome to stay in the twist. We can turn this into a dancer pose by lengthening the front arm forward, sending the foot back to the back hand. You can stay in the twist or rotate ribs and thighs forward and have the option to inhale deeper, wherever the body feels the most stable today. And resting, let's shake out the joints. Give everything a little release. Trading legs. The other heel feels the ground, thigh engaged, knee joint softens. Pick up the ribs, turn them to the bent knee. Finding that space of focus, finding stability, enjoying this stretch, or maybe we float the toes or slide the knee in line with the hip. Option to twist deeper if you feel like it. Option to extend the front leg, the back arm, creating the rotation that works the best today. Breathe. 3 breaths. And then again, option to stay in the twist or turn it in to a dancer. The front toes can reach back, or you can find the hand, front arm can reach forward. You can stay in the rotation or turn ribs and hips forward. An option to inhale and open chest to the thigh. Feel it reach and release as we breathe wherever the body gives us today. And we'll rest, shake it all out. Finding the front of our mats, opening our heart as we inhale, swan diving as we exhale, back to downward dog or child's pose. If we're in downward dog, maybe stretching out those ankles by pushing one thigh forward, the other thigh back, giving calves a little release when we're balancing. We'll be moving on to our bellies. So option to inhale to plank or kneeling plank, lowering the abdominals towards the ground with as much control as available. Resting either the back of the hands or the forearms underneath the forehead. Finding a place to rest the whole front side body. Noticing rest through our shoulders, rest through our collarbone, the ribs, the belly, the hips, the legs, the feet. Then from here, maybe we move our legs. So picking up the lower belly, support the lower back. Maybe one toe leg lifts up off the ground, and the other toe leg can lift up off the ground and flow just a bit side to side. Enjoying the stretch with the legs, or if you're feeling adventurous today, we can add the arms, sending our fingertips over the head towards the front of the mat. We can lift up opposite arm with opposite leg, flowing side to side, choosing any movement pattern today that feels the best on our bodies. Lower belly is still kicking in to protect our lower back. Keep breathing. Maybe one more each side. And then releasing our head back in our hands, enjoying that rest of the front side body, relaxing onto the mat. Our body's enjoying a moment to breathe. And if we feel good about it, we can just continue on our bellies. We can can slide the elbows under the shoulders, finding Sphinx pose. As we ground into our forearms, relaxing the shoulder blades, lower belly kicks in as we draw the heart towards the thumbs. Enjoying lift in the lungs with our legs straight. You can bend one knee, or you can bend the other knee, or you can bend both knees up and down, wherever your body feels the most stable today. Just a couple more breaths. With our toes on the ground, or the soles of the feet flexed towards the sky, we can continue here. As your lower belly kicks in, option to float the elbows up off the ground. It can condense through the spinal column, so noticing where we feel the most stable. Take just one breath. And as we return our forearms to the ground, tucking in the toes at the back of the mat. So we're welcome to continue finding that Sphinx pose, shoulders resting, lower belly kicked in, heart drawing to the thumbs. As we feel stability through the lower belly, maybe our tailbone comes up off the ground, continuing to push into our forearms. So we find stability through the collarbone, the ribs, the lower belly. Option to push into the toes and lift our knees up off the ground. So take 3 breaths, Sphinx pose, kneeling forearm plank, or lift a knee forearm plank. Our body's choice. Then we can all bend the knees. Folding the body into our body's child's pose. If it feels okay, thinking about the tailbone and the fingertips pulling in opposite direction. Noticing that big stretch through the spine, resting and relaxing. Just a couple of exhales. And lifting up our rib cage, finding our seated option with our tailbone on the ground and our legs out ahead of us. Maybe adding just a little rocking movement side to side. And then from here, as our tailbone rests, we're bending one knee. So it may have a soft bend with the foot closer towards the straight leg. You can slide in a little closer. The heel and the big toe can be closer to the straight leg. Or for me, it's a little bit more comfortable to have the hip in line with the pinky toe. So as we hug in that bent knee, we feel the ribs traveling up towards the sky. Option is the first to stay here. Second option is take the straight leg hand, fingertips rest them to the side. Inhale, still lift the ribs. Other option is to take the arm holding on to the bent knee and send it in front of the shin. It can add more intensity in the hips, so if we found something our body doesn't agree with, we just change. Now we can stay tall and lifted, or maybe send our ribs towards our thighs. Take a couple of deep breaths, wherever the body gives us today. Now with our spine lifting back tall, this foot inside the leg is going to come outside the leg. Bottom leg can hang out, or bottom heel can fold in, whichever feels the best on our body's hips and knees. Resting through the tailbone, reaching through the spine, maybe and just enjoying the stretch here. If you'd like to add more twisting, lifting the ribs and feel the belly button reach towards our top leg. We can still hug in, or we can start letting the back hand reach towards the ground, finding a little bit more stability, maybe even a little bit more leverage in our rotation. Front hand hanging out, or maybe the forearm or elbow feels the outside of the thigh, creating the rotation that our body works the best with. Today, noticing the release and relaxation with each exhale. As we turn our bodies to neutral, holding on to the top thigh. If it's available, the top knee can stay bent, or we stretch the top leg towards straight. Bottom leg can stay where it's at. It doesn't really matter what it's doing. Shoulders resting, ribs lift up to the sky. Option to hang out. As your tailbone finds more weight, option to float the bottom leg. Taking a moment to breathe. It's an option. Bottom leg can stay stable on the ground. And then as the straight leg reaches to the ground, If that bottom leg was straight, let's bend it so that maybe the foot either comes inside the calf or the thigh. Option to inhale, the heart to the sky. As we exhale, we can enjoy a diagonal line with our fingertips resting on the ground. We're picking up the lower belly and exhaling the ribs towards the front thigh. As we're here, we can rest where we've landed, or breathe into the tailbone like we did in the beginning of class. Feeling that inhale, tuck in the tailbone, stretch out the lower back. The exhale, find rest through the belly. Just a couple of deep breaths wherever our breath and our body feel the most stable. With our ribs reaching up towards the sky, we're going to trade legs. So we have a bent knee to the side. Now we're going to lift it up. So you can keep it where it landed. You can slide it further out or in, or feel the pinky toe and the hip align. We can stretch our ribs up really tall and just hang out. Straight leg again. You can feel the side of the mat. We can stay here, tall spine. You can take the arm of the bent knee in front of the shin. Again, it can create intensity in the hips, so choose where our bodies feel our best stretch. Now maybe we stay tall and lifted. Maybe we fold the ribs towards the front thigh. Breathe where our bodies rest a little deeper through the breath, wherever we're releasing into rest and relaxation through our exhales. Lifting up our spine. Then, if this knee feels pretty good here, we can keep it, or you can send it outside and just get a little rest in the tailbone or the bottom leg. If it feels better, it can rest in our outside, the top leg, thigh, and hip. So maybe we hang out with that tall spine. Option to turn that belly button towards the top leg. So maybe we lift a little taller, maybe we twist a little deeper, staying hugging on to the top thigh, or letting the back fingertips feel the ground, keeping the ribs tall. Maybe the front forearm or elbow finds reach outside the top thigh. Find the twist that our body feels the best about at the moment. Breathing. We still want our breath to be as relaxed as available. As we turn our rib cage towards the front thigh, may we scoop our hands to the top thigh. Our knee can maintain a bend, or we can extend the top leg towards straight. Noticing our shoulders resting, our lower belly kicks in. As the tailbone feels the weight, option to float the bottom leg can be straight or knee bent off the ground. Find a couple of deep breaths. Now we've got this lifted leg, will reach straight on the ground. The bottom leg we're going to let bend if it was straight, and let the sole of the foot feel the calf or the inner thigh, trying to find peace in this side, hip, and knee. Lifting our ribs as we inhale, staying tall and neutral. Maybe we exhale to the diagonal and hang out here. Option to inhale, lift through the lower belly, and exhale the ribs towards the front thigh. Hanging out just a few breaths, maybe breathing through the lower back, resting through the front of the belly, noticing peace and rest through the spine as we breathe. With our spine growing tall, reaching both legs towards straight, maybe rocking on our hips a couple times. Our legs can maintain their length. We can create a deep bend or soft bend in our knees, shoulders relaxing. Feel the lower belly lift the spine. Exhaling maybe softly forward. We can keep breathing. Inhale, reaching the heart towards the toes. Exhaling, heart towards the thighs. Finding as much release as our spine, our legs, our shoulders, head and neck feel the most stable with. Finding rest through our exhales. Letting our inhale, pull our spine up tall, shoulders rest. Guiding our feet towards the front of our mats. making some space to recline on our spine, noticing inner thigh, lower belly engagement, shoulders releasing, holding on or reaching out as we find control in the torso to release the spine to the ground, shoulders resting, maybe arms rest by the side or stretch over the head, maybe lengthening through our fingers and our toes and finding that stretch. We're welcome to relax the elbows, to relax the hips, to relax the ribs. Maybe we found a place our body is like, yes, I really need this stretch today. We can continue. Or maybe we find a bridge pose, sending our heels in towards our hips, fingertips towards the heels. Shoulder blades can wiggle in a little closer. We can continue with our tailbone on the ground, or squeeze thighs and hips towards the sky, finding that natural lift through the top of the thighs, the hips, the heart as we breathe. Forearms can stay on the ground, or you can create any variation of a bridge. So maybe we wiggle the shoulder blades together and interlace our fingers, knuckles towards the heels. Maybe we even find a little kickstand with our elbows underneath the hips. If you're feeling like a wheel today, you can send the palms by the ears and push the heart up towards the sky. Take 3 breaths wherever we're at. We'll all feel the shoulders, the ribs, the lower back, feel peace on the ground. Maybe we slide the feet wide. Option to just continue in a constructive rest posture with the lower back resting on the ground and the knees releasing towards each other. Or we can add some windshield wipering movements, traveling the thighs towards one side, traveling the thighs towards the other side. Creating the release that works the best in our bodies today. And then we'll have the option to continue the windshield wipering movements. Maybe we ground through our shoulders and our forearms and stack the knees over the hips, reach the knees and toes together, and maybe flow that leg structure side to side, grounding through the shoulders as the thighs travel towards one side, thighs travel towards the other side. Noticing that place that feels the best today. Keep breathing. Now maybe movement is our friend today. We want to continue to relax side to side. Option to just allow the knees to travel towards the left and relax. If we find too much intensity in the top thigh and hip, we can lift the top knee towards the ceiling and find a little extra peace in the lower back. You can even extend the top leg towards straight if we feel like we need a little extra sensations through the outer hip and lower back. So we're breathing, finding rest, finding release, finding peace through our exhales. And we're welcome to flow the knees to the other side. Find that relaxation with our knees rest with gravity, or maybe that top leg lifts up a bit to feel relaxation in the lower back. Wherever our bodies feel comfortable, knees can stay bent. Maybe that top leg feels like reaching towards straight. Find peace here, just a couple of exhales. Our body feels a little evenness, guiding the knees back into neutral, and maybe hug our thighs into the chest, grounding the spine in stillness, maybe rocking just a bit side to side. So we can continue here with our knees bent. Maybe our hands rest by the side of the hips, creating a little kickstand for our tailbone as we stretch the heels towards the ceiling. Finding our legs up the wall option that works today. Noticing a little peace, a little rest through our tailbone, a little release through our body. As our legs are pressing up to the sky, we find a little bit more circulation flowing through our legs. The heart pumps a little faster with blood flowing in a little more intensely from the bottom side of our body. So at any time, if we're feeling any sensations that aren't of comfort, we can always find a different position. We're just going to take 2 more breaths here, creating a little bit more rest and release in our spine, through our legs, through our shoulders. This is also really good for our digestion and the organs in our body and our torso. And if we've got our hands by our hips, we can slide them back out to our side, letting our heels return to the sides of the mat, and maybe returning to that constructive rest posture with the knees together, tailbone, lower back resting on the ground. We can stay and rest. We can add those windshield wipery movements again. Or if we've skipped out on any of your favorite yoga poses today, you're welcome to move into any other stretch the body is craving an extra release in. And just find a moment to rest the body into a place that we can find stillness and relaxation. So stillness and relaxation is with the feet wide, knees together. That's available. Maybe we feel like a reclined butterfly today to add a little passive external rotation in our hips and thighs. Maybe we feel more like our traditional final relaxation with our legs extended, our feet open, our palms open. Noticing that place where our body can breathe. Our palms can stay by our side. If it felt more comfortable to feel the belly, we can return to that belly breath we created at the beginning of our practice, allowing our breath to expand the belly like a balloon. Our exhale to relax the lower belly into the lower back, maybe even feeling the ground. Creating as much release through the body as we feel our breath guide us into today. Our inhales find that deep expansion through the lungs, allowing the belly to rise. Our exhales feel that deep release out of our lungs, allowing the lower back to relax towards the ground. Flowing the belly as we breathe. Noticing peace, noticing rest, noticing relaxation with each breath. As our mind's eyes feel the belly flowing up and down, we can stay with our mind's eyes relaxed on the belly. Maybe our breath feels like traveling to any areas in our bodies we may have found any extra stimulation today. And our breath can add some calmness and peace as our inhale takes those extra sensations out of the body. And our exhale presses them into the floor to stay, feeling rest, feeling release with each breath. Welcome to begin traveling the breath into our fingers and our toes, continuing to enjoy stillness or welcoming any movements, maybe wiggling out our joints today, finding squeeze and reach through our hands and our feet, relaxing through our wrists and our ankles. If we're finding movements, maybe even adding some circles through the ankles and the wrist. We breathe through our legs and our arms, noticing release through our elbows, our knees, welcoming the arms and the legs to bend and extend. Guiding our breath through our spine as relax the hips, the tailbone, lower back, the rib cage, the shoulder blades, the shoulder, the back of the neck, the back of the head. Continuing in our restful posture, or maybe sending our thighs to our chest, enjoying stillness with our spine on the ground. Or maybe finding a few flowing movements with the inhales, guiding the thighs away from the body. The exhale, sending the thighs in towards the ribs. Finding release through our tailbone, the lower back, the ribs. Feeling peace as we breathe. Continuing this movement, maybe even adding a couple circling movements with our knees on the ceiling. Maybe we travel the circle in the opposite direction. And then maybe we find our bodies resting over onto our side. We're welcome to rest our head in our hands or the upper arm as we notice a moment of relaxation and rest. As we pull in those calming breaths through one side, pressing out anything we just don't need today through the other side and into the ground. Guiding our bodies into our comfortable seated option. Finding a place of rest and release through our legs, whatever feels most stable. Tailbone feels the ground, spine grows tall, shoulders rest. Flowing our palms open, inhaling fingertips towards the sky. Exhaling thumbs into our heart. Inhaling as we lengthen. Exhaling lower. Finding one more breath, inhaling tall. Exhaling down. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you all for joining me. Have an amazing day.
That was awesome.
Yay.
That
I really can't do this and this at the same time. So. It's just that way.